again, in my own words, yes, there's a little bit of vocab on the quiz tomorrow. It's going to be a matching situation where you're going to have to be able to match what things are with their definition. Kind of similar to what we had on the Kahoot review, and now this, in terms of like some of those vocab words. And if you look back on your 11-1 notes, it should also be there. Okay, so let's actually pull those out right now. Find your 11-1 notes, take them out. They look like this. They have a box on the front of them. Find these, take them out.
I'll be out here for that.
Good morning. You weren't here for, okay. Look and see if you got it though. And if you don't, there are extra copies. This one.
The single sheet.
It's a single sheet of paper. It should have a box on one side. You need one? Okay. So, in that box, who needs one besides Michael? Anybody else? So, in that box, you should have the vocab words. He has it?
He thinks he does.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so you should have the vocabulary on there to help you. So remember, you can use your notes on the quiz, so make sure that you're helping tomorrow you, right, by having the notes. Either you should already have them done, or you're adding stuff right now. So what is an angle in standard position? So remember, our angle in standard position has to always start on the positive part of the x-axis. It can end wherever it ends, but it has to start on the positive part of the x-axis. That's the part that, kind of like a board game. We all start in the same spot on a board game, right? You don't start in different locations. Same thing here. We're going to start in the same spot, and it's always going to be the positive part of the x-axis. The terminal side of an angle is where the angle ends. The initial side is where it starts. Remember, coterminal we talked about in the warm-up as well. That's when you have the same starting and stopping point, but how you get there is different. So those were some of our vocab terms. And then we also had our conversion factor on there too, that we either multiply by pi over 180 or 180 over pi. Do all those terms make sense?
Yes.
Standard, initial, terminal, coterminal, those all make sense?
Sure.
Okay, because if they don't, ask me now so we can add some more information into your notes packet or even on this sheet. It doesn't matter where you put it. We're good? Okay. It says to draw the following angles. Okay, well, in order to draw the angles, I need a grid. So give me a grid for each of these for starters. So I need this for both of them. So I know that it has to start here. So every single time, my angle is going to start on the positive part of the x-axis. So there's no other spot where it can start. We have no other choices. If we're going negative 50 degrees, am I going counterclockwise or clockwise? Clockwise. And 50 degrees is just a little more than half, because remember, each of these makes a 90-degree angle. So 50 is going to be just a little bit more than half. So if I put my angle right there, and then remember, we also need to explain how we got there, because there are so many ways to get from here to here, right? There are infinitely many ways. We could have gone this way. We could have gone around 10 times and then gone there. So there are so many different ways to get to a spot. We need to make sure we say how we got there. All right, 160. A straight line is how many degrees? If I were to 180. So how much do I need to be short of 180? Just a little, right? About 20 degrees, not about, exactly 20 degrees. And again, I'm not going to get a protractor and measure and say like, ooh, no, your angle is 165. It's not okay.
No one's gonna-
Try to get close. And again, you also have to draw this part in. So this is not optional. You have to show me how you got there. So how did you get there? You rotated right there and you went counterclockwise. So if you went clockwise, it would have been negative 200. So you've got to show me that this is how you went. Questions on either of those? Yes, no? Okay. I'm only going to make you give me one coterminal angle today and tomorrow on the quiz. So you can change that so it says just one. Do you remember what my trick is to find them? Add 360. So adding 360 degrees is the trick to find other coterminal angles. So if I take 80 and I add 360, 0, 4 down, carry the 1, 440 degrees would be a coterminal angle. Could I add another 360 to find another coterminal angle? And another 360 and another 360, right?
Just keep going.
Yeah, we could keep going as long as we wanted. We can also subtract 360 if you want to go the other direction. So there are different ways to give your answer here. So what am I going to do to the negative 100?
You gotta add that 260.
We're going to add the 360 again, and we get 260. And again, you can basically add or subtract 360 to your heart's content, and you can find as many coterminal angles as you want. So even though I made it easier by saying 1, you should be able to find 10 pretty easily if I told you to find 10. I'm not going to, but
You could say.
yes, you should be able to. Okay, we want to convert into radians. So when we want to convert into radians, I'm going to multiply by pi over 180. When you want to convert into degrees, this one is going to be what? What goes on top?
180 over pi.
180 over pi. Okay. Now, you can use a calculator to help you or anything you'd like to have, but you need to know how to use it before the quiz. So I'm not going to help you use your calculator on the quiz. So make sure that you have whatever piece of technology you want right now and that you know how to use it. And if you don't, you're asking me questions.
Oh.
All right, now remember, I like to put this over 1 so that it kind of buddies up and it's a fraction with the conversion factor. So I'm going to multiply by pi over 180. What is 130 times pi? 130 pi. What is 1 times 180? 180. And then from here, I can cut off the zeros because that's dividing by 10. Is there anything that divides into both 13 and 18? No. So that'd actually be my final answer. 13 pi over 18. Now, if you want to do it on the calculator, you take 130. Ooh, you can't see that. You take 130, divide it by 180, and you hit enter. That'll give you your decimal. And then if I hit math, enter, enter, it's going to give me the fraction. If you have one of the calculators, the scientific ones, I don't know all of them super well. I just know the one that I have the most of. So if you have this calculator, we've got 130. Then you press your ABC key. Oops, it didn't register my 0. Hold on. 130. Then press your ABC key, and then type your 180, and then hit enter, and it's going to give you 13 over 18. Okay. And if you have something different, make sure that you know how to use it, or we can try to look it up. If it's not a calculator, I can easily figure out. All right, next one, 45 degrees. What should I multiply by?
180. Well,
Pi over 180. If I multiply the top, 45 times pi is 45 pi. In the denominator, 1 times 180 is 180. Okay. So if I go to my calculator, 45 divided by 180, ooh, do we know that decimal? 0.25, what is that?
Money.
Yeah,
1/4?
1/4, yeah. So you can write it as 1/4 pi, or you could write it as pi over 4, either way. So this is fine, or you could have the pi up top. All right, we ready for the last two? Okay. So we have 5 pi over 3, and this time we're multiplying by 180 over pi. So multiply across the top. So what is 5 times 180? You have calculators, you can tell me. 900. And we also have that pi still. So we have 900 pi in the top. What's 3 times pi?
3 pi.
3 pi. What can I do with the pi's if there's one in top and bottom?
Cancel them out.
Cancel them out. And so all I have left is this 900 divided by 3. Ooh, do we know what that is? 300. And if you don't know what it is off the top of your head, you can always put it in your calculator, yep. Okay. Last one. Pi over 2. What am I multiplying by?
180 over pi.
180 over pi. Pi times 180?
180 pi.
180 pi. 2 times pi?
2 pi.
2 pi. Pi's cancel because I've got one in top and bottom. What do I get when I take 180 and divide it by 2?
90.
90 degrees, yep. And if, again, if you didn't know, you can use a calculator. And could you even write yourself a note on here about how to reduce using the calculator?
You could.
Yeah. So if you know which calculator you're going to use, so if you know that you use your own graphing calculator every time, you could write the directions on there that like, hey, I'm going to divide the 2 and then I hit math enter enter to get the fraction. So you can write down the directions even if you know which calculator you're going to use tomorrow. What questions do we have? Yeah.
Do we have a sign we box stuff too?
Do we have what?
Do we have another worksheet or
No,
no?
no, we don't have another worksheet. This one's it for today. Okay, but you do need to make sure that this is completely filled out. You need to make sure also that your notes are filled out and ready to go because again, there will be a little bit of vocab on there, and if you don't have the vocabulary in front of you and what it means, we've got to know what that is some way, somehow. Okay? All right. I will